On the first day of theology, Carneades gave to me the problem of omniscience. Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we are going to start a new series called The 12 Days of Theology. And we're going to be doing video number 1 on omniscience and free will. Now, I'm not an expert on theology, though I do have some experience with philosophy of religion, so in order to do this series, I'm going to be enlisting the help of someone who makes YouTube videos under the name Epicurus, a Greek. I do this partially because I'd love some help, insight, and a different point of view, and also partially because I love the idea of someone called Carneades and someone called Epicurus working together on philosophy. Anyway, keep your eyes out for the rest of his videos as well. Now, on to omniscience. Omniscience is all-knowing. What is omniscience? If they know everything. If S is omniscient and P is true, then S knows that P. The problem here, of course, is God supposedly is omniscient. There actually is some omniscient being out there. But this seems a little worrisome for free will. The argument against God's omniscience and free will goes as follows. If God is omniscient, then God knows that you will eat oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow. If God knows that you will eat oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow, then it is necessary that you eat oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow. If it is necessary that you eat oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow, you cannot freely choose to eat oatmeal for breakfast. Therefore, either you do not have free will, or God is not omniscient. You can put in anything for eat oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow. In the original version of this argument, it ends up being something like, God has foreknowledge of your actions. God knows something that you're going to do in the future. It doesn't have to be oatmeal, and it doesn't have to be a specific case. It can just be generally God has foreknowledge of what you're going to do. And if God knows that you're going to do something, how can you freely choose to do it? So, there are a lot of deeper problems with omniscience that we're not going to get into. This specific problem, which is the most surface problem, is actually fairly easily objected to. Let's take a look. The problem with this is a problem that faces a lot of claims that use the word necessary. There is an ambiguity in, if God knows that you will eat oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow, then it is necessary that you eat oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow. Either it could mean, in all possible worlds, if God knows you will eat oatmeal, then you must eat oatmeal. Or, if God knows that you will eat oatmeal in this world, then you must eat oatmeal in all possible worlds. The former statement seems to be fairly true and in line with our intuitions. However, it doesn't really support the argument. While the latter statement, though it supports the argument, doesn't seem to be true unless you have some independent understanding or independent rationale for believing in fatalism. We'll take a closer look now. So, in all possible worlds, if God knows you will eat oatmeal, then you must eat oatmeal. What this basically means is, if in World 1, God knows that you will eat oatmeal, then you're going to eat oatmeal. But in World 2, God knows that you will eat cornflakes. Perhaps because you've made a different choice, you're going to eat cornflakes. The point is, God knows whatever you're going to choose, but that doesn't force you to choose something. God just knows what you're going to choose. If you choose oatmeal, God knows that you're going to do that. If you choose cornflakes, God knows that you're going to do that. But you aren't forced to choose oatmeal just because God knows that you're going to choose it. You could choose whichever possible world you end up in. So, this doesn't really support the argument, because free will seems to be still allowed under this picture. However, the other side of it is, if God knows you will eat oatmeal in this world, then you must eat oatmeal in all possible worlds. Basically, in World 1, God knows that you will eat oatmeal. Therefore, you eat oatmeal. But, because God knows that in that world, in World 2, God knows that you will eat oatmeal somewhere else. The problem here is this kind of assumes something called fatalism, which basically says that there aren't a bunch of different possible worlds. There is only one possible world, and that is the actual world. Any other world is actually logically impossible. God knows everything in the actual world, and so God knows the only way you can do things. this already pretty much pre-assumes that you're not going to be free, and we would need a good argument for believing in fatalism, which is, for those of you who know free will, it's like a super determinism. Anyway, simply because God knows something doesn't make it necessarily true. If you provide an argument for fatalism or for the statement that if God knows something, it's necessarily true, then maybe you'd have some more power with this argument. But until you do that, you're kind of up a creek. If you're interested in some of the other arguments that exist against omniscience, check out the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, or maybe I'll do a video on them one of these days, but not in this series. So, over the course of this series, we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of different ideas in philosophy of religion and theology. On the right, you will find all of the videos that Epicurus, a Greek, is going to do. He's going to do them on the even days, while I will be doing the videos on the left on the odd days. Watch this video and more at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.